With me here in the studio, I have a lecturer from Unibank. Join me to welcome Dr. Owen. Welcome to
Good morning,
Edu Design.
Wilson.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me. Viewers at home, good morning.
So very close to him, he is a clergyman. Join me to welcome Bishop Bright to say welcome.
Well, thank you, Wilson, for having me. Good morning, viewers at home.
All right, Dr. Owen Olowu, it's like you could feel it. You can touch it. It is palpable. People are like saying this election, this election. Now, from your observation, how do you feel the preparedness of all stakeholders, the electorate, the politicians? Are you convinced from what you've seen and heard if they are totally ready for this election?
For me, I think I'm particularly very happy with what I have seen so far. You know, there is this impression, they say vote don't count. But the events of the past few months, the electioneering, the campaign, the rigor, going to the nooks and crannies. I think I saw a video yesterday of how one party went into the creeks, to the Nikoroga, to this, all those areas that have initial people don't even go to ordinarily. And then there was one other video of how one of the parties also went to one very crooked road they couldn't access in the Esan area and all that. I'm particularly happy because this goes to prove that votes will count in this election. Because if these votes will not count, then why are these politicians stressing themselves in embarking on campaign? I'm sure even the deaf, even the blind are seeing that the seriousness with which these politicians from the three major parties, those are the ones that we have seen, the rigor and strength and the power, the energy with which they put into this election, will tell you that the voter is king, apparently. The voter is king. And from what I've seen so far, the three major parties have really fared well. They have done very well in terms of campaigning, reaching out to the unreached, and then taking the message through print media, through news media and all that. They have, to me, I think we are set for a showdown on Saturday.
We are set for a showdown on Saturday.
And it is very, very difficult with the energy that these politicians are putting, these parties, the three major parties are putting. It is really difficult to decide to say, oh, this one will carry the day. It's going to be a tense election. When I say tense, not tense in terms of security, because I know that security will be there in this election by the grace of God. There will be security. There's adequate preparation for security. But when it comes to what these parties are putting, I want to tell you that you cannot just wish away any party, any of the three parties. You can't wish anyone away.
You can't wish anyone away.
No, they have all done very well.
Let me come to Bishop.
Campaigning. They have done very well, I must say.
So from what Dr. Olowu talked about, it said the three political parties, majority of them, because people are like saying that it's between three major political parties, others they did their best, but in terms of campaign, calming, the interior, exterior, that they've done so well. Do you think this will be enough to convince the electorate on who to vote for?
Okay, thank you, Wilson. Thank you, viewers at home. I did have said a few months ago when I came here that we had entered into the season of election, that people should sit back home and enjoy the process from the primaries to date. And I want to first commend all the political parties, the way they have conducted their, political campaigns and all of that. When you look at the heat entry into this campaign, you think that there will be so many, fatalities. But we want to thank God that up to date, we've not heard further killing or thereabout. We want to also say that it's a good thing. It gives us the impression that the politicians are now aware that power belongs to the people. And with what they are doing right now, there is this full mobilization of every segment of the people, the intellectual, the not intellectual. And there is this, when you go around, you also have the opportunity to hear from various candidates what they get to offer. Because very just now, the economic situation of this state right now, the country in general, it is now giving a lot of awareness to people to participate, to be interested in what is happening politically. And you could see that the people are asking very, prominent questions. from politicians. What you people had to offer, and how are you going to offer them? And what I enjoy most in in this campaign is that some of the political parties were able to come out with clear core agenda, how they're going to manage the economy of the state vis-a-vis what is happening in the country and global economic meltdown. So I want to say, give and take, the politicians, they've done their job. Only that the job of a politician, I just discovered that it's not easy. Especially when you see some of the parties get to market a certain product that seems to be very difficult to sell. You see that's where you see lies, you see all sort of statements that were not warranted. So, but all the same, vis-a-vis, we give it to the politicians. They actually shake the length and breadth of this state. And also, we also have begun to see the people from outside the state that we would not really encourage, that they should stay away from the state. Allow we, the state residents here, to choose whoever that will govern us. So we also want to look into the preparedness of INEC. So this morning, we saw, where I was driving now, I saw that the central bank was coded off because sensitive material, they said they went there to carry them. I said, okay, that means they are ready. Because that is the very big factor in this election. If materials gets to polling unit on time, then you see that tension will dies, and the tendency of creating problems will not be there. So when people wait for material, they didn't come, you see that tension begin to rise, and at that time you cannot control it any longer. Anything can happen. So we are calling on INEC. INEC must show that they are ready. This is an off-cycle election. There is no, we were told that INEC deployed 5,000 BVAX machine and 18,000 ad hoc staff to Edo State, which is supposed to be adequately enough. But the question I'm asking is that I was telling somebody this morning that 5,000 is really not still enough, because we have 4,000, over 4,500 polling units in Edo State. What about when there are breakdown? So I expected that it's an off-cycle election, that up to 10,000 vivas would have been programmed, configured for this election.
For this election?
Yes, 2-to-1 polling unit in case there is a breakdown. So there shouldn't be running, because glitches that we had in the first one will not be a good explanation why the thing didn't work well. So we expected INEC and also the security agencies to live above board. To serve the interests of the Nigerian state. They are not, the security agencies are not for any political party. And they must be seen doing so.
All right, now, if you take a look at the demography, if my IT unit can just help out, you get to see a number of registered voters in the 3 geopolitical zones. You have the one for Edo South, you have the one for Edo North, you have the one for Edo Central. You can just see it there. And in all elections conducted in Edo State, by calculation, you get to realize that the number of voters that comes out to vote, they're not up to 2 million, not up to 1.5 million. But according to records, we have over 2.2 million registered voters with their PVC. Voters have collected their PVC. Let's see that demography on air, please. We can do that. Now, by your analysis, the politicians, they've done their best. Do you see the electorate coming out, at least to beat the number of voters in previous election? By calculation, is not up to half, sometimes, number of registered voters, Doctor.
One thing you must know, we have, like you said, we have over 2 million registered voters in Edo State.
With their PVC?
With their PVCs, as the case may be. Yes, PVC collected, let's put it that way. Then you must also know that people register for an election, or rather register to vote or get PVCs, as the case may be, for different reasons. Some just go to get these PVCs because as a means of identification. It's not as if from the very beginning they are not even ready to vote. And also too, all the elections, I think I've followed the election relatively for some time now. In not just only, when you come out, you see large chunk of people crowd in polling units and all that. And then at the end of the day, when they do the statistics, you realize that people who have really come out to vote are just in the neighborhood of maybe I think there's hardly any election we have had 30% of registered voters or PVC collected coming out to vote. And many factors are responsible for this. Over time, this INEC register is not being purged. Because you know why? When people register to vote, before many persons have registered in particular polling unit to vote, and then you come to realize that before the election or within the period prior to the election, some people would have died. Some people would have also relocated. And when they relocate, not many persons, until recently, not many persons even know that you can even transfer your polling unit to a place that is close to you.
Yeah.
And all that. And then they will look at the fact, and again, I want to also tell you that this election, we may even have worst voter apathy compared to, it's not as if people are not willing to come out. Many factors will militate against people coming out to vote. And one of such factors, especially people who have registered in the place that is far from where they currently reside. In those days, people can just, with 100 naira, 200 naira, they can get to, no matter how far the polling unit is, they can actually get there and cast their vote. But the way things are now, people are not really willing to make sacrifices for these politicians to, or to come out and say, okay, I want to come and vote and all that. I want to risk coming from the distance that I stay to come and vote. So people will come out to vote quite well, especially in the metropolis. But this voter apathy thing is really not as a result of people not being interested in the process, or they are interested. Like I said, the register itself, I want to say, I don't think there have been a register review in the past since INEC started conducting the election. Let me just even say since 1999. I don't think.
No, let's say this is like the recent review.
When I say review,
yes.
Have they gone to, when you talk about review, a review should be holistic. Have they expunged people who have died?
Okay.
Because they don't have such information to start with.
All
people
right.
who have died, there are many people who have died in that register, in that polling unit. They have not expunged those things from the register.
Okay, I will come back to
there are people who have also relocated from that area and have failed to transfer their polling unit to where they are currently. Some have even left these states. You'll be surprised that the people who will really be active in participating in this election, a large chunk of them will come from the people who just recently registered in the last continuous voters registration. A large chunk will come from there. Whereas from the old register that we have, many of these people, they have left these states.
Okay.
They're in other states. Some have died.
Okay.
Some have traveled out of this country.
Out of the country.
And the register has not been reviewed
All
in
right.
that light.
Now, let me come to you, Bishop Bright. He said there might just be a tiny bit of voters, our party, that may not have enough numbers because of the factors he has raised, relocation, death, or not even having an interest to come out to vote, despite the fact that these politicians, they've done their best in terms of campaign. Do you share his views?
Okay, not totally. His views represent less than 1% in the voter apathy. The reason why you see or you thought that people didn't come out is the failure of INEC. I have monitored elections in the past and discovered that people comes out, the election materials are not there. You see our mothers. You people report from various units to see that 11 people who came out very early at 11 a.m. materials are still not come. They hungry, they gone back home. And last election, 2020, we discovered that INEC relocated certain persons, created more polling booth units, and these persons wearing away, and all of that. So some of us had to now use our phone to check INEC portal to know that some people were shifted from a particular polling unit who were in a particular primary school to another primary school. And some of these people were discouraged. What's the meaning of all this nonsense? And you now discover that the election populace dropped by a large percentage because the other time INEC created additional polling units. And that really created problem from this part of the world in the last general election. And I have actually been sensitizing people that you don't wait till 25th of September, otherwise you may never vote. Yes, I was moved from my polling unit. Yes, if not that, okay, I insisted that I must vote. It's my responsibility. Nobody can disenfranchise me. I would have not voted. I got there, I didn't see my name. First of all, I didn't get the explanation, and nobody to talk to. Eventually, I was able to confront one of the police officers who now said no, that some of these names were moved. I should go and check another primary school. I went there. Mine was also not there. I wonder, so what is all of this? So somebody now said no, I can check INEC portal. They gave me the link. I checked and I saw where the
so people should start checking right now to know.
Yes. So that's it. Everything boils down to INEC. If you want to see if a police comes out, go to various primary schools that you see it chock full with people. And at the end of the day, most of these people can't vote. Their names are not there. And all of that. So it's now reduced to the fact that like, as if they didn't come out. To be honest, people are ready. This election, I'm a cleric by the grace of God. I can hear people wants to vote. And as much as I tell them, say, look, as much as you want to vote, as much as if your name is not there, you also cannot vote. Go and check right now, know where your polling units are. Because, first of all, when you get to a place, you made up your mind, I'm going to this place, that's where I'm voting, and you get a DC, you're destabilized. You are tensed. And maybe to be able to make a good decisions, who will not be there. You are angry. So those set of people who are not allowed to vote by means of their names are not there, they tend to create problems within the
polling unit.
Yeah. Politicians can use them and all of that, and before you know it, they say there is a problem in that. So everything boils down to INEC. If we have a good election, free, fair, credible, INEC must, ad hoc staff and all must come to units on timely. The other thing I saw was that one of the units, the unit that took me to, at about 12, election materials has come. The election was started. They say one from so and so wasn't there. That all the agents insisted that they will not start until the supervisor brings that form. We were now waiting for the supervisor. Only God know. Thank God he finally came. And all that. So all of these factors had been some of the way they create problem. INEC create problem in this part of the world. Right. And it seems like as if we are not politically aware. We are. Go to most of our villages. People will not go to farm. People will not go to work. People will just intend to carry their civil right.
All right.
So it is INEC duty. It's the service to relocate somebody without informing the person. The last time I checked my INEC card, my phone number is there. If you have relocated somebody from a polling unit because of necessity, it is also important that the person get an SMS. Okay.
Well, you know, we have a tight schedule today. Yeah. Seriously tight schedule. So what advice do you have for electorate? 1 minute, both of you, for coming election.
I want to say this. To be very honest with you, I'm not a fan of staggered elections. Yeah. I really don't like the fact that those states is now in the spotlight. In a few days from now, it will be Ondo State that will be in the spotlight. I have worked as an INEC ad hoc staff in plenty elections, and at the highest level, by the grace of God. And like I said, I've seen situations where one of the most well-attended elections was the election of 2023 after 1999. Because
so what advice do you have for them?
Particular candidate who came out, and then people were interested, they came out to vote. At the end of the day, there was still a voter apathy. People who came out to vote were less than 30%, as the case may be. Right. Now, the advice I have is, regardless of the threat everywhere, the electorate should come, because this is their future we're talking about. The next 4 years will be determined on Saturday. So they should disregard every threat coming from anywhere.
They should come out to vote.
Come out and vote, because if they don't come out to vote, all of us will suffer.
Thank
for
you.
the next 4 years.
Thank you so much, Dr. Owen Olowo. Well, quickly, Bishop, 1 minute.
Election is not war. Yes. Politician children are not here. Don't allow any politician induce you to carry firearms. Electoral offenses are real. You will be charged, punishable. Politicians will take their children, they will go outside the country. Okay. Go to your polling unit, cast your vote. If need be, you want to stay there peacefully, as much as you are not disturbing the environment. If you know you have a disturbing spirit, go to your house. All right. Allow that spirit manifest at the polling unit, or you will be picked up.
Thank you so much. Well, you've heard from both of them. Come out and vote.